So, is it time? How many are there now?
Now it is 9 and the participants count is 50. We can start, Dr. Sir, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. You go ahead and introduce. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and wanakkam. And if there is any sick brothers and Sat Sri Akal. So it's my pleasure to come back again and talk to you about learning process. We have just started learning in the early ages. So I will continue this, and I don't know how long it's going to go on, but definitely this week I was free, and so I'm taking, right now here it is 11:30 in the night. So inshallah, I will try to do my best. And so this we have talked about this diagram. We have talked before, and there are newcomers. I just want to recapitulate, and I want to say an important thing in this diagram. If you look at the, prenatal means before birth, and this is postnatal. Okay, in prenatal, certain functions have already started, like motor development. The baby moves in the belly of mom. In the uterus, the baby kind of moves. There is amniotic fluid, freely moves in that. So there is hand movement, and actually, sometimes if you are sitting next to a pregnant, late trimester mother, you could actually see the baby moving from outside. So they already have started the motor activity, okay, which is very important. And then, of course, baby cannot see before birth. So even though the eyes are completely formed, but still they cannot see. And another important thing, the later period of the prenatal, when the ears have formed, and you could the baby, the fetus could hear what mother is talking. So it is very important. And don't think that babies are not learning language. Definitely they are learning language. Whatever is the mother tongue. If it is Tamil, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Urdu. Whichever language, English, if the mother is speaking English as is her home language or native language, these kids in the brain, the right-sided baby will have in the left temporal lobe, all that is happening is going to affect the baby brain. So it is very important when mother has a baby which is not born, you have to take care as if this is in your lap, and try to protect from verbal abuses, physical abuses, and all that kind of thing. And it has been observed that intrauterine babies, when mother is upset, shows emotional reactions, like the blood pressure of the baby goes up, and the pulse rate of the baby, heart rate, it increases. So those are not good signs. So some hormones which like adrenaline, noradrenaline, or we can call epinephrine or norepinephrine, that will have a bad effect. Okay. Same. Now, another thing, look at this basic vocabulary, and by the time 2 years, almost this basic vocabulary, the infant or the preschooler already had it. The toddler, basically here it is a toddler, not even preschooler, a toddler. See 3 year here. So motor development, vision, basic vocabulary. If the child is learning second language, for example, parents speak Tamil or Telugu, and the second language is outside spoken is Hindi. For example, in Hyderabad, it is Urdu. So these kids will start picking up Urdu when there is a house servant or somebody or uncle comes and talks in Urdu, and these kids start picking up a language. So already their brain is engineered for mother tongue, but also, they can also start learning second language. And math and logic, mathematics, it is interesting to see the mathematics already started in infancy. If you tell a 1-year-old kid, uh, you may be thinking that mathematics mean like algebra or multiplication. If you know, mathematics is simple, basic mathematics. For example, if you tell the child, give me an infant, 1-year-old, give me one block, then he will give you only one block. If you tell him, give me blocks, then he will bring 2-3 blocks. So already he started or she started learning the mathematics. And so that same way the logic also, logic comes, okay? And so within 3 years, that social attachment has developed. The relations have developed. This is my brother. This is my sister. This is my mother. Oh, that's my uncle. So I know this. He is my friend. She is my. So already by 2, they will come to know, the close contacts in their environment. Then comes the emotional. See, emotional starts up somewhere around 6 months to 8 months. They get emotionally attached, and not only emotionally attached. If you don't, if you look at them and you kind of, say harsh words to them, they start crying. Why? Because they have the emotional attachment to you. If you make them happy, they are happy and come and hug you, kiss you. So this is this emotional. And if you say that don't do it, they know that if the child does that, mother is upset. So they try not to do it. So they try to control emotionally. Okay. So all these things. But remember, by the end of 3rd year, by the start of 3rd year, most of them are gone. That means they already developed those. And if there was some problem with these, and their basic vocabulary is not good enough, then they may not be able to start their preschool early or the school early. They will still have the basic. It doesn't mean that they won't speak. They will. They will learn how to write and all those things. But efficiency will not be that good. Okay? Remember that. And I'm going to talk about second language and all those as I go on. So let me go to last time I was talking to you about that play makes babies smarter. Okay. After that, this is the slide I want to always remember. Multisensory experience. The child learns faster and that involves or she involves more than one senses. So very often, quite early in their, like 3-year-old, 4-year-old, we put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10, or asking them to decode what is that 1, 2, 3. The kid doesn't know what is that letter means. They are not still the brain do not think in abstract which is not there, which is not in front of them, which they cannot feel, which they cannot sense. through their eyes or through their hands, particularly hands. Remember that, because I showed you one anatomical picture of the brain where the hand was so huge in the brain. Everybody, even adults, learn hand activity through hand activity much better than auditory or vocal or visual. So this is if you involve more than one senses, the learning will be better, and the kids' attention will be more. And I want to just revise that when you are talking about kids' attention, a 3-year-old kid will have about 3 minutes attention span or focusing time. I have mentioned this before, but just I want to recapitulate so that I'm revising so that you can understand. So a 6-year-old, 6 minutes, you can add 2 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes. That's all. If you try to ask or feed the child more information, that child is not interested. So it is age dependent. And once they reach the age of adolescent, 15 minutes, rest of your life is 15 to 20 minutes. That's all. You cannot focus more than 15 minutes. I'm speaking to you continuously for 40 minutes. Probably you get bored, and those who are lying down and listening to me, they will go to sleep. So sometimes what I do is I completely come off the subject and tell you a story, something which happened to me, or a joke, or a little physical activity, or something. I'll stop and drink a glass of just a sip of water. That few seconds will again boost your synapses with neurotransmitter substances. So it is very important when you teach what grade you are teaching and how much time you are teaching, and in between how you are relaxing the neurons, their connections, their synapses is very important. Okay, so remember that. And rote learning. This is the big problem in India. You have all these textbooks. In India, textbooks are the curriculum. Whereas in developed countries, curriculum is different, textbooks are different. Textbooks are for the reference of the child. And there are teachers' books, which are again teachers' reference books. So, important in India, the kids will understand. What is rote learning? Rote learning is memorizing without understanding, which doesn't make sense to them. I told you in the past in my webinar that there are two things which are important: making sense and understanding. The kids will, if they understand, the memory, the recent memory can go into the long-term memory when they go to sleep and in the rapid eye movement, sleep. So they kind of all that is written on the hard drive of the brain. So that is important. So particularly, kids, elementary school kids have to sleep more. Don't give too much homework to them. Let them come to school with good sleep. Okay. So rote learning. For example, if you give them a long list of words, long list of words, you come up with those. This is what we do in English medium school. First of all, this is foreign language to them. Okay, it doesn't make sense to them. There are every day they give 10 words, and the kid has to come and tell those 10 words. Okay, and memorize basically. And this is the most boring part of their life, early life. They don't even care what it is. It's not their mother tongue. This is foreign language, like teaching Tamil to English medium school kids here in America. Why they have to spend that? I always discourage this, and I will tell you why I'm telling you this. And somehow our parents, even our teachers, their kids, they are teaching in Tamil and Urdu school, and their kids are in English school. It's so sad. I feel sorry for those kids who are suffering. This is like a brain damage to them. So foreign language words, when expressed using gestures, most likely to be remembered best. If pictures are added, will be even better. So for example, the secondary language, which I mentioned in that diagram, the secondary language, the kids are learning now. So English, the primary language, they are going to school in Tamil or Telugu or Urdu medium, and now they are teaching right from the first grade a secondary language, which is spoken outside too. It may not be English, it may be different other language, but if you show them, when you teach these words, don't give as a homework to those words. Come tomorrow with memorized words. Don't tell them. Teach them in the classroom. How do you teach them? For example, you are seeing this boy with an apple, okay, and show. For example, this is a Hispanic kid, okay, and the teacher may be saying, and actually he's an English kid, and teacher is teaching Spanish. So you show the gesture and tell Marzana. Marzana is apple. Marzana, and that gesture and showing somehow has some stimulus to the brain. It is amazing, how even a small movement of the hands can support that one. And tell, if this is an English kid, this is apple. When you say what it is, the kid understands. When you say Marzana, who knows? At home, it may be something else. Okay? Save. For example, in Urdu, we say save. And the kid, and he forgets. Okay, so the gesture, pictures, and the best is give that object in the hand and let him feel. So now, what is happening here? There are more than one senses which are identifying that object. Touch sense, and even you can tell him, oh, go ahead and bite, how Marzana taste. And the kid, oh yeah. So when somebody says that word, actually the feeling comes, the tactile sensation or touch sensation comes, and the pattern of the apple comes, because he has seen the color of the apple comes, and there are a lot of senses which work together, and that is the important aspect of a good learning, a deep learning. We call that as deep learning. I'm using another word. So it's not surface learning. Very often we teach our kids in surface learning or rote learning, which they forget. Soon after the exam, you ask the same question, can tell, because those kids memorize the answer. So that's what happens. All right. So now, and moreover, I'd like to again see, whenever I say something, I put down here references. These are research-based, everything. So this is also called evidence-based. Just don't hypothesize or postulate that if I do this, it will be the best. This is what we do in India. I teach like this, and it is the better method. I have seen that even in the diet, those professors and lecturers are saying without any giving any references or evidence-based aspect of that teaching. So learning in multisensory, see, learning is multisensory. It should not be through listening. It should not be just visual. So it should be using different senses. Okay, uh, a word is better remembered with gesture, image, and translation. I will tell you. You know, you have seen those kids memorizing Quran, the holy book. So they move like this. You know what? That gesture makes them remember. So any kind of a gesture, while you are memorizing or showing the sign of apple like this, I showed you, and the kid, next time, the kid may also do the same. Here, I remember that apple, I remember. So gesturing means action, the motor. And they all of a sudden think of the image. Oh, apple looks like this. Oh, I taste like this. So all those are memories attached with one word apple. And more those memories are, better the deep learning. And it goes into long-term memory. Brain learns foreign words more easily when associated information from different sensory organs. Okay, so like English, now you are teaching Hispanic. For Tamil students, you are teaching another language, Telugu. Of course, you know, Telugu, Tamil, and Malayalam, these are Dravidian languages, and their Mugu, Kannu, and all those are similar words. Okay, and gesture, I will give another example. Kids initially in their infancy, you know, initial stage, they learn with the gestures. For example, when you say no, you did a gesture. No, no, and your facial expression. So the kid is looking at your gesture, and the kid will also say no, no, no. That's how they learn. It's very important, and it is just not kids. Even the adults do the same thing. Okay, so particularly when the kid is learning foreign language, and another thing I will tell you. You will learn foreign language better when you know your mother tongue first. Your basic education should be in mother tongue. When I studied, my mother tongue is Urdu, so I studied the entire up to high school in Urdu. But English started in 3rd grade. I think that was too late. I should have started in 1st grade, but it doesn't matter. Still, up to 6th, when you enter into elementary school, you have enough time. Your speech center is still growing. One thing I want to tell you, that when the speech center, you know, actually a speech center closes around 13 to 15 year age. When English is taught, or any language is taught, if it is taught right from the childhood, there won't be any accent. If a British governors like Nehru and other our leaders in the past, they had their teachers from England. They used to come and stay with these kids, and kings particularly, and they used to speak British language, British English, without any accent. Why? Because right from the birth, they were taught by different teachers. They used to speak Arabic as if this is their native language. Bahadur Yarjan of Hyderabad, he knew when he went to Egypt and gave a talk in Jama Azher. He was speaking like, and they were looking at him, how he knows this literary Arabic, because that's how, when they were young, they were taught like that. Same thing with the Sanskrit or any language. So if you want to teach, very often our kids do not grab, like my accent is not American accent. Whereas if you listen to my kids' accent, you close your eye, you think that an American is speaking. Why? Because, I was taught English with the English language, Indian language, Indian English. So my accent, it will never change, because I came to United States when I was more than 26-year-old. So by then, my speech center closed and I cannot speak. I have mentioned this before also, that certain words, if you do not pronounce, and you miss the speech, if the speech center closed by 15, 13, you are going to say, you cannot say z, like zero. I know my Gujarati friend, actually he was my classmate, he used to say zero, because there is no z in Indian languages. There is jha, jha, chi, chi, ju, ju. There is no z, z. Now they can tell, because English is taught a little bit early, but still they cannot say gh, like Arabic word or Urdu word, gharib. They will say garib. So, kharib, near. They cannot say kharib, they say kharib. And these film singers, they do a lot of mistakes. Now, the old, like Lata Mangeshkar and all those, perfect, because they were taught early in their life by these Urdu, teachers. And so remember that, okay? So a little bit, recapitulation for those who already heard, but for the newcomers, this will be a better thing. So remember, I was talking to you about, how the mother tongue helps you to learn the foreign language. If the children are put right away into the foreign language class, like English medium, I know that I'm talking against all those English medium schools, but that's fine. This is the truth. This is well-established research truth. Whether you listen, I know that you are spending money on English schools, but this is the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling the truth to the teachers of Tamil speaking teachers who have put their kids in school, same Urdu school, into Telugu school or so. So please, for God's sake, look at me. I'm fluently talking in English, isn't it? I write a lot of papers in English. I'm doing very well, even though up till I was in high school, I studied my language, Urdu, everything, science, mathematics. Mathematics, of course, you do in your English, numbers. So, but rest of the things. And by the way, I was reading physics when I was in high school in English, chemistry in English, biology in English. Even though I was Urdu medium, I was both. I was perfecting both languages. You can teach many languages to these kids. Their brain is fully capable of doing this. But don't forget your mother tongue. Okay? So, I already mentioned about this. And these studies, I'm giving you the reference. And, Max Planck Institute of Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences. This study was done in 2015. If you are really interested, I want to give you a research work. If somebody wants to do research work, just text me. I will give you a research work. You publish a paper. We don't even think about these research. Why these, European countries are doing research? Why not India and third world countries are not doing? Because we don't show them that research is something. We don't encourage them to do research. We just hypothesize, we just postulate, we just make our own mind. We do not practice, research at all. Not even colleges. The only time PhD, then you have to have a guide. That guide is misguided too. He didn't learn, just, the easiest PhD you want to do, right? Do PhD on somebody, or maybe the dead poet, or somebody. I always ask, you did PhD, what's your topic? Oh, this, oh my God. Do something. Very often we try to replicate the research, which is already been plagiarism. And I know there are some university vice chancellor, they are in trouble in India. They did play, somebody has already done research in Germany and they copied it and got another PhD in India. So don't copy those things, okay? Cultivate the habit of doing research. So if somebody is interested in research, particularly on this topic I just mentioned, give me a call. I'm not going to say, okay, are we preparing the early brains? Now listen to this. A motor brain, the kid already started moving in mother's womb, mother's belly. The motor activity started, okay? And when that baby comes out, and in the beginning must be lying down on how you put it, on the side or wherever, but soon the baby will turn and tummy time starts. Tummy time is when the baby becomes prone, on the belly. So, and then try to roll up, turn, isn't it? So they turn. So this is very important. This makes those babies learn faster. And you may ask me, what is the connection? The babies who do not crawl have deficiencies. They are late starter in schools. So crawling, baby walk, turning, tummy time, all those are important. You know what we do? We put the baby in front of television. Where is the crawl time? They did not have crawl time. They were strapped in the car seat. They're sitting right there, okay? And you go and put it in, those babysitter's place, and that babysitter will put in the, baby seat and put in front of the TV. So where are the vestibular movements? Where are the motor movements? Where is that baby is trying to learn walking? Every phase is delayed, and those kids are not school ready. See how much that motor area of the brain is interconnected with all those. It's not a single thing. So imagine how much damage they are doing to the kids' brain. They are your own kids. They are your own babies, and don't ruin their brain. This is my advice to all of you. Others' babies are your babies too, and think that those are my babies. Okay, vestibular stimulation plays a key role in school readiness. I spent a lot of time yesterday. I'm not going to go over that. Okay, and those kids who are given vestibular stimulation by rocking movement, like you put in a swing and rock them, or put on your lap, you rock, mandi pe dal ke, how you kind of tap them. That is a rocking movement. All that, and these kids will be much smarter. And those kids who were not given these movements, they gain weight faster. Why? Because they are not moving at all. They are not spending, energy. They are not moving. So basically, whatever they eat, they become fat and become obese. So obese babies are bad for health, even for the brain. Their vision development is hampered. The hearing will have the effect. When mother speaks to the baby, it speaks, or father, it speaks in a slow way. Whereas the TV, goes fast, sometimes so loud. So remember those things. Rolling over like this, tummy time, like baby is on the tummy, crawling, rocking, jumping, swinging, all that is going. Even in swing them on the sideways too. Swing them the front way, spin them. So not like spin too fast, but just different moves so that there is a stimulus to the vestibular area. Okay. Now I want to review the whole thing. So whatever I talked so far, kids who have not spent enough time in playground show poor school readiness, and exposure to constant threat and trauma. Trauma is like injury, not real trauma. It could be verbal trauma or anything. It will hurt the brain, and these kids will have a bad behavior, because the hormones like serotonin and noradrenaline are secreted, which will produce anxiety, palpitation, heart rate increases, their blood pressure increases, and emotionally disturbed kids, and that will not help them to learn. So learning indirectly is hampered. Okay. That extended television watching, and this is again, they will have aggressive behavior, passive and aggressive behaviors. This is winter, and this is my house, and you can see the car is completely covered with snow, and see how sparkled. It's beautiful. Winter outside, it may not be beautiful when you go out. It may be very cold, but to look, it is very beautiful. And I will show you at the end. Now it is spring. The first thing which happens in America is the flowers, blooms on the trees before even the leaves come out. Right now, one of my tree has all white flowers, and another one has pink flowers. It's just coming out. So I will put a picture, and I will show you how beautiful it looks like. The lawn becomes so green and lush, and it's really beautiful. So, the reason why it is because there is no pollution. The population is not like 1.3 billion. Here there are only 300 million. We have a lot of space. I have about 1 acre lot, backyard, big front yard. So you can see different types of trees, and I put vegetables and all. Why I'm telling this? Because I'm giving your brain a little bit rest, so that the neurons are again become refreshed. The neurotransmitter substances are, replenished in them, and now ready to shoot. Okay. Now let's go to the next slide. This is this is this is my mother tongue, and this is my language. I spoke Urdu, and it says, "Utho agar na hashr hoga phir kabhi, daudo zamana chal qiyamat ki chale." What the poet is telling, it is Makhdum Mohyuddin. Everybody knows Makhdum Mohyuddin in Hyderabad, and what he's saying, if you do not rise up now, you will lose this race. And if you don't run fast enough to catch this time, you will be lagging far behind. So this is my request to the teachers, that please use the knowledge which I'm giving to you, and try to put in practice with the students. Teach them in the best way, so that they can be a good learner. I will tell you another thing. By the time, if you are sending your kids to an English medium school and your mother tongue is not English, then by the time they understand English, it is high school. Forget about what they learn. They will start, oh, it is like this. In high school, they will, oh my God, I didn't know that. So this is my humble request, and maybe if possible, I will give you a one seminar on why mother tongue is important with the scientific, you know, ex, experimental evidence-based, research-based information, okay, and all MRI and everything I will show you in that. But anyhow, let's go back to auditory brain. People think that there is auditory brain, visual brain are different. I'm going to talk maybe, I don't know whether I should do tomorrow. I should start talking about intelligence, and I know that you must be waiting for this multiple intelligence. People think that there is multiple intelligence. God, that there was a great psychologist in his time, in 80s and until 90s. His theory of his name is Howard Gardner, and he's I think he's still alive. But he thought that there are different types of intelligence. We don't know what is intelligence. Still, we are wondering what is intelligence. If you are intelligent, means what intelligent? So maybe I will start. It may take a couple of seminars for me to conclude on that. Intelligence. What is intelligence? What are the different theories of intelligence? There is the Spearberg theory about intelligence. There are so many theories. So those are all postulation and hypotheses. They really did not, at that time, they did not have fMRI or modern PET scans or those which are present now. So we'll talk about that later. So let's see if there is, like how the portion of hearing in the brain, auditory brain means there is temporal lobe which has some areas and of neurons, some neurons which are dedicated to listening or hearing. So you can call that as auditory brain, but auditory brain and visual brain, they are all interlinked. So when a child is looking at apple, he not only seeing the apple, but if you drop the apple, how the apple makes sound, he knows that too. And also he knows the taste of it, and he knows the sensation of it. So it is just not the word learning, but there are a lot of senses. So it is auditory, but it is all those. If somebody is auditory cortex is good, its visual cortex is good, its learning ability is good, its smell sensation is good. He knows exactly how that apple, smells. So, and sometimes the smell is, it goes quickly into your deep memory smell. You could say, oh, I know this is the smell of jasmine. I know this is the smell of a rose. How do you know that? You just smell one time. It's quick. Smell has a strong learning memory. Okay? And, I remember, one of my cousins, his father, when he used to come to my house, he looked at his clothes, his jacket, and come and smell it and said, oh, this is my dad's jacket. That's so, the kids are fast learner, particularly smell is again, that's another science, okay? Okay. All right, let's see, math and music. Okay, this is very interesting. When I was in college, or even in yes, in college, high school, they did not let me listen to the radio. So in college, I used to listen to the music and do mathematics. Now I understand why it is. So math and music circuitry are related. Introducing music at early age may help math later. And the kids who learn piano or violin, it has been experimented and researched. Uh, they are good in mathematics. So now we know why. Because when we took the brain scan, we found, when we did functional brain scans, we found out that when they were listening to the music and doing mathematics, those areas were lighting up together. It's very interesting, isn't it? Um, and I already mentioned about that, infants, the babies, soon after birth, like near 1 year old, if you ask, he already or she already knows what are when you the numbers, what are more numbers, what is less number. They may not tell the number, what is 3, 4, 5, but that's the thing. So don't think that they don't understand mathematics. Okay? The language development. I mentioned that stressful pregnancies, either it could be verbal abuse by the husband or by people in the environment, to the mother, or even traumatic deliveries and all that causes language problem, and this is associated with language problem. A mother who was stressful will have, the baby will have a language problem. So you have to be very careful with a pregnant. That's why, pregnant women, like if there is a pregnant woman and you are traveling and you are sitting in the seat, please get up and give her the seat. That physical stress will will uh, will have effect on the baby's brain. And respect mothers, and particularly in our culture we respect a pregnant woman. Okay? uh, Left cerebral hills than the females. uh, why? Is it because of different genetic material? It could be, but at one point both will be the same. There will not be any difference. Now the environment takes over. So don't think that boys are dumb. Don't think that girls are smarter, because girls have more time at home to read and focus. There is some difference, but that is all environment. Okay, environment. We'll talk that in intelligence. I will talk to you about all these things again in intelligence. Um, when the parents talk to them in bigger vocabulary, words develop better language skills. Okay, I mean vocabulary words that leads to a better language skills. And this is old research, but it still holds good. And there are many more research, articles written in favor of this. So even though it is 1993, but it holds good. So and they start school early. One thing you should remember: it all depends on experience of a child. Nobody is intelligent. If I know when I moved to United States, my son was very young, and so he didn't know what is burger. So in the book, in the notebook, there was a burger, and he did not mark that. He did not connect those the word with the picture. He just said that he doesn't know burger. I said, because he has not seen the burger. He did not taste the burger. So how he is going to know? It doesn't mean that he is not intelligent. It all depends on experience. Remember that. The more experience the kids have with the word and understanding of the word, better their usage. Sometimes Jenna, my granddaughter, she uses certain words. In sentences, I kind of astonished where she's learning. Oh, she's learning from the parents. Their grandparents are with him. And another thing I want to tell you, when my kids were young, my father and mother used to speak Urdu. And they used to say some Urdu words which I wonder where they did learn. So this is why it is important vocabulary. When you speak to them, use good words so that it makes sense to them. Make them understand. Okay? And if you are introducing English vocabulary, make sure that they understand in their mother tongue and they visualize. Some certain things you cannot visualize. Pain you cannot visualize, but show with the gesture. Oh, it's painful. They will understand what's pain. Okay? So all that. Um, uh, 82% of all parents say they don't encourage reading at home. How could these kids will have reading? When they have so much homework, they don't even have the reading time apart from reading the textbooks, memorizing their question and answer, they spend about till midnight doing this homework. I'm fed up with this. I was hurt when I was a child about this homework. I don't want my children to suffer with this homework. And it is just pain for them, okay? And like when a child reads, I see here a 4-year-old child has a different book. That vocabulary is different than a 7-year-old kid. And you will get these books, story books, and punctuations particularly is very important. Where the comma comes, where the semicolon comes, where the full stop comes, how they should read. So this is all very important aspects of reading. Reading is just not reading. Reading, how fluent you are. If you are shown a sentence, are you spending too much time in reading that? Like very often, if you are watching a Japanese movie, underneath you have the English translation. Can you read that in English translation? By the time you read first 2 words, that the screenshot is gone. Another view comes, another sentence comes. So, how fluent you are in reading, all those matters. Okay. So reading is just not recognizing the words and taking your own time. Okay. Parent ought to read to them. Okay. Samir?
Yes, Dr. Saab, it's now 9, time is now 9:55.
Okay. I will finish this.
Can you finish this slide? Yeah.
Okay, I will finish this.
Yeah.
Okay. A parent ought to read to their children beginning at 6 months. Don't think that child is not talking, you cannot read to them. Put the child in your lap. Just read it. That's simple, Or sometimes there are some books which shows the pictures and you make a story. Oh, this child wants to play a ball. Okay? Now he kicks the ball. See, the words are not there, but you read. And the child will remember those things. Okay? And until they are 4 and 5 years old. And by now they start reading by themselves. And before puberty, most children learn any language without any foreign accent. I told you. If the child is taught by an American teacher in English, my God, that kid will speak with no accent, no Indian accent, foreign accent. Okay? So school ought to teach more challenging vocabulary and foreign languages by age 12. Why? Because by then the speech center closes. By 13 and 14 or 15 at the maximum, speech center closes. Okay. So I will stop here and I will take question and answer. I hope you are all enjoying this.
Sure. Dr. Sab, shall I start with yesterday question?
Please go ahead.
Yes. Will talking through video call with the children affect them?
No. Um, because on both the ends, if parents are there on one end and the uh, teacher is on the other end, but it may not be as good as hands-on activities or actually they are naturally present in front of you. But in these difficult days, something is better than nothing. Okay.
Yes, kids learn alphabets, numbers, vocabularies from the educational videos like songs, nursery rhymes from TV before going to school. So watching that also is not encouraged, or though it is educational, but it's screen time.
Okay. There are some educational channels, like in United States. We have, or on YouTube, there are so many of them. Like, you know, young kids. But again, remember that it should not be more than 1 hour, and uh, mother or father, somebody or the take carer should be sitting next to them when they are watching. Like, they have like a train comes with the numbers, one with the one apple, so it says one, or a duck comes and one duck, two ducks come, two ducks. So those are very good, and I think that will not hurt them. But again, make sure that no one, and at least 1 hour after age 2. Okay, before age 2, just hands-on activities. You work with them. That is the best way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Uh, yeah, they want your suggestion. Which app or website is good for the primary students?
Which
Application.
see, that's the mentality we have. We think books are the most important thing. Uh, I'm going to talk about the standards, core curriculum, and all those things. You know, um, when in elementary school here in United States, they do have some worksheets. They kind of some books like this, uh, the mathematics and some kind of books are here also, but they are different. Different schools adopt different books. They are same, but usually nowadays it's more hands-on activities. So you really don't need text. You need a good teacher, and the teacher is given uh, task that from like the same thing in India. They try to push the curriculum in some duration. So here we also want that kids by the end of this year they should learn this much, so that from the next class is a little bit more complex. It becomes harder and harder. So easier to harder. Okay. So I cannot recommend any textbook.
Okay. Most of the time most of the time while taking classes, we feel exhausted because of not getting response from the children. Any suggestions?
Uh, this is very important. Let me go back to those books. Books, just a click to me. In India, I have seen this. Different people publish different books, particularly up till fifth grade. until 5th grade, you are allowed to publish your own textbooks. So there are whole big market. Oh, here is the book. You use our books. This cost like 5,000 per 10,000 per year, and this is the set we will provide you. And you look at this and look at these books, and the books you are seeing in government schools. Our books are much better. And what is that? Much better. They dump more higher grade subjects into lower grades and say, see, your kid will be learning this in 4th grade, which is in 7th grade in government schools. My God, it's such a miserable situation for that kid or that school who is taking those books and trying to teach, and these kids are not understanding. They will have mental problems. This is why suicidal tendencies, depression in kids. They don't want to come to school. Why? Because the textbooks or curriculums are not age aligned. And never, in India, that, oh, my kid has double promotion, skipped one class and went to high school. Oh, he's so intelligent. That's not right. He's not intelligent. You are torturing that brain. So let him do easily in whatever grade he is, rather than she is in pushing ahead. So please be careful with these textbooks. Okay, the next question you were asking me, Samir?
Shall I proceed, Dr. Sab, or shall I hold on for tomorrow's
No, go ahead. You
Yeah, which is the best curriculum? Is state syllabus good?
As I said, I am going to give one seminar on the curriculum. What should be the curriculum? Okay, so maybe tomorrow I should talk about that. Maybe I was thinking of intelligence, but I will talk since there are a lot of questions about curriculum. So I will talk about curriculum tomorrow. And another thing, just like while I went to sleep. There was one teacher, I don't know if that teacher is still listening to me, and she mentioned about history. And my kids, they are not doing good in history. What shall I do? That's what she said, isn't it? Samim, you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I
Right.
feel very sleepy during the history class. Why? She asked me.
Okay. First of all, I don't know in what period or what part of the day they were learning the history. And the other thing is, when they are fresh, it is much better for them to grab everything. But history, if taught in the later half of the day, is fine. Because history is very interesting. I told you I used to love history. It depends on how you tell. If it is in a form of a story, put some emotion in that story. Okay? History has a lot of emotional aspects. For example, French Revolution. French Revolution, before Napoleon Bonaparte go over and make it to the Republic, French Republic, there was a king, King Louis XVI. And during his period, there were a lot of taxes. People couldn't pay. There was so much, the prices were so high. Bread was very expensive. People were suffering. The peasants or the farmers were in great, famine, and there was not enough crops and grains. And but the king was, levied and put taxes so much, and so there was a kind of unrest. And you know what? That led into a revolution. And and that king was you know, guillotinized. Guillotinized means punished and killed by the court ordered him to be killed. And a blade, guillotine is a blade, huge blade which comes and cuts the head off. And that's emotional. And tell the kids of that history, and people took the revenge. History repeats. It will happen. It happened 100 years ago. It will happen now in some countries. It will happen. It will happen. When people are under arrest and go hungry, the revolution comes. And they are not taken. They are not cared. They are not happy. This is what will happen. So now, tell the students, make it more interesting. Okay, if you were there at that time as a king, what would have you done? Give them homework, or tell them what was the uh, problems this king created. They will go back and study. And now, let make groups and ask them to discuss among themselves. And this way, history will becoming more pleasing to them rather than, history of Ramayana is good too. How Rama was sent to forest for, so many years. And there are a lot of, even in our Islamic history, there are so many good things. There's history is full of moral values and, humanitarian values, and you teach them. You don't want to be a bad king like that. You don't want to be a bad ruler like Hitler. So they will learn from that. So history is excellent. Okay, I think I spoke too much now. So are there
It's
any questions?
yeah, many questions are there. Shall I hold on for tomorrow sessions of the sub?
Yes.
Then
Tomorrow
tell
I
you
will
that.
talk about curriculum, inshallah. Okay. So how to make a curriculum. All right.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, that's really a fine thing, Dr. Sam.
Okay.
Participants of today, Alhamdulillah, we reached 176 participants count. It's a really happy thing. But the one thing I want to stress here, it will be even better if we have this count at the beginning time itself. Right,
Yeah.
don't miss any information. Today we
And
started with 50 participants, but gradually it increased up to 176 by 9 to 20, 15 to 20.
okay.
Please
So
be
another
on time.
right. Another thing, I was requesting you about e-certificate. Those who have attended, please register yourself. Make something so that we can issue you how many seminars you have attended. Accordingly, we can issue you the e-certificate or digital certificate. Thank you
Inshallah.
very much. Appreciate.
Yeah. Thank you, team. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.